Welcome to That's Good Sports Podcast. I'm Brandon Perna here with William Keys, the ninth. The first.
Oh, yeah.
Well, got a long bloodline of evil people in his family, and he wants to carry on that tradition. This is the That's Good Sports Podcast. We are on Podbean. We are on iTunes. Go to iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating so we can overtake the world as the best Broncos/NFL podcast. I think we're the only podcast that does the Broncos and the NFL.
That has to count for something on the charts. It has to.
That really does. So first half about Broncos, second half about the NFL. Today's rundown is this. We're going to talk a little Von Miller, Phillip Lindsay, the Broncos Ravens matchup. Then for NFL shit, I added this in, Will. I don't know if you've seen it, but the new Era Elements hats. Josh Gordon to the Patriots, Antonio Brown, Jets versus Browns. That's the team, the Browns, not Antonio Browns, but I would like to see a full team of Antonio Browns. Then we've got our Week 3 picks and our results from our FanDuel battle last week, where we each tried to set the shittiest lineup on earth. And that's what we'll cover today. That's what I tell you so you know what we're going to talk about. There's an old marketing secret that says, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And that's what I started the process of doing today, Will, for football and life.
Does that mean we're going to recap everything we talked about after we talk about it, which makes the podcast twice as long?
No, well, it's a never-ending cycle. This podcast will never end, actually.
Fair.
What if we just streamed ourselves talking about this all day, every day?
It'd be like the Truman Show, except you just can't leave your
the room, and you can only limit your conversation to football.
Mm-hmm.
Be a disaster.
Yeah, my legs atrophy. I can't walk anymore. Lying in a pool of my own excrement.
I mean, what else? What do you do? Yeah, bedpans would be necessary.
Yeah.
As I mentioned Monday, Will, I am still on the injury report. So I may have to stand during this podcast. So anybody watching on YouTube, if you get a shot of my junk for 10 minutes, that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, well, famously, you don't like to wear pants during the show. So
I've got an ice pack on the back. I'm icing up, son, and just fighting through the pain, you know? I wish I liked narcotics, because I think this would be a great excuse to pump my body full of magical feeling man-made drugs instead of natural stuff like CBD, which I have been using. But that's where I stand on the injury report. How's your body? Does it feel 100% ready to go?
I don't think it's been 100% in years, to be honest. Like, I think I came out of the womb at like 80%, but
yeah. Maybe we'll get there one day. Poor nutrition, right?
Right, yeah. No, I've been eating nothing but Taco Bell for 6 years.
There you go.
Straight.
And today, before the podcast started, I asked Will if he got a haircut, and he just informed me that he wasn't wearing a hat today. So that shows how close Will and I know each other.
Yeah.
You look different. Oh, yeah, I don't have a hat on, dipshit.
Well, you know what? To be fair, it was a black hat. My hair is a little darkish in this lighting, so
looks Andy Dalton like to me.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't like where this is going at all.
My hair will. Last Christmas, my dad gave me some shampoo that gradually dyes your hair, gets rid of gray.
Yeah.
And, I have refused to use it until
I can tell.
The comments have gotten every comment's like, your hair's gray, you're getting old and disgusting. So I started to use it. Now, how many times do I got to use it before you don't see the silver fox in my hair? I don't know. And will I keep using it? I don't know. These are things people want to follow, though.
Oh, I found precisely one gray hair on the side of my head like a week ago. and it was terrifying.
Yeah, well, you're like 12, so that's very worrisome.
I'm 12. I was born in 2006.
There you go.
Yep.
What year were you born?
1996.
Oh, shit. That's 12 years after me.
Well, hey, we make it work.
All right, let's I guess we'll talk about football. That's why people are here. Where are we starting, Will?
If we must. Okay, so we've got some Broncos stuff. So Shaun O'Hara of the NFL Network and also former player, offensive lineman for the Giants. He thinks that Von Miller, who has 4 sacks right now through 2 games, is going to break Michael Strahan's single-season sack record of 22.5.
Like it. Like that prediction.
Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's possible?
I think it's plausible, yes. Will it actually happen? I don't know. Von Miller he's leading the league in sacks right now with 4.
Yes. He should have 5, really.
He should.
Think about it. That Todd Davis holding that we never actually
Nobody ever saw us. I saw somebody say, made us a snide comment, thanks for that, Todd Davis. How do you fucking know if he even held? We never even saw that. So lay off of Todd Davis is what I say. It's tough because Miller has 4 sacks, but then there's guys on the Cleveland Browns, guys named Larry Ogunjobi, who you've never fucking heard of, has 3 sacks. So anything's possible. Do I think he can keep it up? Yes, because after 2 games, he looks like the most motivated defensive player the Broncos have. He looks like he is hungry for QB sacks, and that's in a different way than I'm hungry for QB sacks. But it's a long season, and to get 22 and a half, I don't know, man. That's a tough record to break. So if I were a betting man, I would bet against it. But as a Broncos fan, I'm going to root for it very hard. And yes, it's possible, but I don't know. It's a long season.
It's tough. I feel like it's tougher for Von Miller than it is for Michael Strahan, even though Von Miller's probably as talented, if not more so, than Michael Strahan.
More so.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. But they do. Fair. He does more than Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan was a pure 4-3 defensive end that just rushed the passer on passing downs. And Von Miller drops into coverage sometimes, and he does more, and he plays the run well. And he's not all about getting sacks, even though that's what we know him for. And
he gets triple teamed more than I would say almost anybody.
And he gets held a lot too. If you watch any part of that Raiders game,
he never gets the call. It's bullshit.
But Donald Penn was strangling him like fucking Homer Simpson with Bart, and the referee has just turned an absolute blind eye to it the whole game.
Yeah, that's just another reason defenses get fucked by the NFL.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Strahan just got to be the guy who goes after the quarterback, and Bradley Chubb, I think, has been playing well. And I think if the pass rush becomes more dangerous on that other side, and if they start putting Shaq Barrett in more with Von Miller as well, then that could really change things. And Von Miller, I think he credited Derek Wolfe with his ability to get sacks. So if Derek Wolfe continues to play well or becomes more of a threat in terms of pressure, then also Shelby Harris could affect that too. Interior pressure, if you push that quarterback to Von Miller's side, he's going to be dead. That quarterback will die.
Yes, no, he will.
But I think the one thing, the Seahawks game, the Seahawks line is terrible.
Yes.
That's why Miller got those 3 sacks. Raiders, lot better line. He could have had 2. So I think I would have to look at the talent level he's going to play against for the remainder of the season as well. Because I don't but
I mean, the Ravens have a pretty strong offensive line, or at least they have a few good pieces, like Marshall Yanda, although he's a guard, and Ronnie Stanley's pretty good. I don't really know about their right tackle situation, although I assume it's okay, just because if it wasn't, Joe Flacco would, he wouldn't be doing shit through the first 2 weeks because he's not very good.
Yeah,
But
I don't think their line is that great. I think their weak point too, like the right tackle James Hurst. I don't think he's that good. So
yeah, he doesn't sound like someone I've heard of. So
you ever heard of James Hurst?
I have now.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, in this game, I think Von Miller can get another, at least 2 sacks. I think he could get.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, his highest season total came in 2012 when he was a second-year player with 18 and a half, and that's when he had Elvis Dumervil on the other side. So I think, honestly, like Dumervil that year was probably better than any year that they got out of DeMarcus Ware, just because Ware was kind of on the back end, and Dumervil was still kind of in his prime.
Yeah, Ware had back-end problems too, like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell you, I don't know how the fuck he played through lower back injuries. That's insane. I can barely edit these stupid podcasts and videos I do.
Yeah, well, you're a hero. I'll just say it. I don't have any problem saying it. You're a hero.
Every 5 minutes, I'm going to remind people that I'm in pain. That is my plan.
Just stand up and turn around and don't even say anything. Okay, so speaking of records as well, Broncos records, Terrell Davis thinks that Phillip Lindsay, who has played all of 2 games in the NFL, can break Terrell Davis's own Broncos rushing record, which is 7,607 yards. I think Phillip Lindsay has about 180 rushing yards right now, so
not too far to go.
Yeah, he's got a little ground to make up. But do you think this one is possible? And also, what do you think is more likely? Miller breaking 22.5 or Phillip Lindsay breaking TD's record?
I think Miller breaking the single sack season record, because you only need 1 season to do it. Oh man, I would love to see Phillip Lindsay do that, but so many things have to happen for that to work out. One, and I think the biggest concern for a smaller back like Phillip Lindsay is health. He's got to be healthy for like 5 or 6 seasons in Denver. He's got to get through a rookie contract too. There's no guarantee he's going to get signed by the time he's done, like to a longer deal in Denver. And then you need good offensive play from your quarterback. Your line's got to hold up. Like Terrell Davis played with the best Broncos offensive line in Broncos history while he was the best running back in Broncos history too. So that's a record I would love to see, but I think that's far more unlikely than Von Miller being able to get 22 and a half sacks in a single season. And I was just watching NFL Network's Broncos Ravens review, which is a whole 2 minutes long, minus like a 20-second intro. So you get like 30 seconds from I think Shaun O'Hara and God damn it, former Ravens coach.
Oh, Brian Billick.
Billick, yeah.
I wonder who he thinks is going to win.
Yeah, no shit. And they show this picture or this video clip of Phillip Lindsay running, and he bounced this run outside. Great run. Moved the ball to his right hand to put it on the outside shoulder. And I didn't notice this, but he almost fucking fumbled the ball when he was trying to switch hands, because like, oh, cool, I can talk about him doing all the little things right. And I was like, oh, shit, he almost fumbled there. So I won't talk about that. But what I noticed, I think the thing Phillip Lindsay has is great vision, and all really good running backs do. And just watching some of the different angles in his runs is like he sees where the hole is going to be, and he gets there. And I think right now the one thing he's doing better than like Royce Freeman is seeing where the play's going to develop and then putting his body in that place. And that's Terrell Davis. Like, for, the physical gifts, because he wasn't the most gifted runner. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. But I felt like he had the best vision and knew, especially with that style of blocking and the one cutback, he just knew exactly when and how to do it. So that's kind of what I'm starting to notice with Lindsay. That was a very long-winded answer. Sorry, Will. You have said nothing about it.
Yeah, and I'm just kidding. No, I think the only way this happens is if he gets a couple of contracts with the Broncos, and which it's honestly possible because if they give him like 10 to 15 carries per game and they don't get too much wear and tear on him, and say he plays for the Broncos for like 9 years, I think he can grind out, 7,600 yards more or less.
9 years for a running back too.
I mean, well, it's not that crazy though, because if you think about like Darren Sproles, like how long has Darren Sproles been playing? Like 12, 13 years? It happens. It's just like guys who get beaten to the ground aren't going to play long, but I don't think Phillip Lindsay is going to be like a 300 carry guy.
No.
Because they have Freeman now, and that's just not their style. But I think
if you
let him, play long enough, I think he can do it. Like the Broncos, for such a good running team over the years, like their rushing record's pretty low, 7,607. And
because
TD got that, basically like four full seasons and then parts of like 3 others, which it's not a ton.
Well, they just like recycled through backs for so long.
Yeah.
In the 2000s after Terrell Davis, like if you look at the starting running back for the Broncos, it's like it's a long list.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Anderson, Alandis Gary, Ruben Drones was in there, Clinton Portis. You had all these guys coming in and out, and then they trade Portis for Champ Bailey. So
yeah, this would be Portis's rushing record if he had never gotten traded. But
yeah,
that can't really argue with that exchange with Champ Bailey.
No,
got the good side of
that. I think Phillip Lindsay can have a big game against the Ravens too, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the third thing, let's see here. Third thing you had was Bradley Chubb. We started to talk about him, but what's with the Chubb?
Here's the Chubb. Bradley Chubb is actually Pro Football Focus's 5th highest graded rookie through 2 weeks, which is a little surprising, I think, to some people, just that he's been that good. But they've got him rated 76.6, which is officially a good rating from PFF.
It's in the green.
Yeah, it's green.
It's not yellow. It's not red or orange. It's not blue like Von Miller.
Right.
Or turquoise like Shelby Harris, but it's green.
Okay, so I've got a question for you.
Okay, shut up, Brandon.
No. It's green. It's in the green
We
zone.
get how colors work, you fucking idiot.
Please list the colors in the rainbow right now in order. I realize you've probably already seen this, but I was going to ask you, who do you think are the players rated ahead of him, if you haven't seen it already?
I did see it, but I kind of forgot.
Okay, well, don't look at it now.
But now I want to because I want to be right. I've always had a fear of being wrong.
No?
Let's see. Rookies rated ahead of him?
Yeah. It's pretty –
Now, I want to say Denzel Ward for the Browns, but he's not.
No.
But he's played well.
Sure has. I'll give you the position.
Okay.
And then I'll see.
Give me the position.
Okay. I might even give you a team too, or like a division. Okay, so we've got a guard from a New York.
Oh yeah, Will Hernandez.
Yes.
Who I think is outplaying Saquon Barkley even.
He probably is. Unfortunately, he's the only offensive lineman on that team outplaying Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I guess it might be a good thing that who is the tackle from New England over there? God damn it. Solder, yeah. Good thing. Maybe that's a good thing the Broncos didn't grab Solder like we all wanted.
Yeah, I'll take Garrett Bowles over him any day right now.
So we got Hernandez, guard.
You're not going to get this one. It's Genard Avery from
I would have gotten that.
It's
Genard Avery
for
the Bengals.
Wait.
Or Browns. Sorry, Browns.
Yeah, that's what I said, the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay.
I talked about him yesterday.
Sure. Why not?
I talked about Larry Ogunjobi from the Browns.
Fair. Good point.
But I guess I didn't know he was a rookie. I thought he was like a second-year player. But the Browns' defensive line now is going – the Browns' defensive line is going to be very good.
It's for real.
Next year,
Myles
I
Garrett
feel
makes
like,
all those players a lot better.
yeah, I think next year people will be talking about the Browns line as like one of the best in the league.
Yep. Okay, you're gonna get this one.
Okay.
Safety from the AFC West.
Oh, Derwin James.
Yeah.
Isn't he number one?
He's 2 right now.
Okay.
I am still upset that he fell to the Chargers because he's a really good player, and he's going to be for a long time. But number 1
Way to pass on that one, John Gruden.
Yeah, really. Fucking idiot. Number 1 had 18 tackles for the Colts last week. He's a linebacker.
Shit. I don't know.
Darius Leonard, a second-rounder.
Leonard, wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot of tackles.
18 tackles in his second game is for real.
That is, I would call that a big dick player.
Yes, he was very good. Bradley Chubb is 5 out of those guys, which I don't know. Just watching the game, I don't feel like we've seen a ton out of him through the 2 weeks, except for like the half sack.
Yeah, well, I think he's doing like the other things well. He's being a well-rounded defensive end, edge rusher, whatever the fuck you want to call his position. But I think everybody expected him to go in there and be like gain his notoriety from sacking the quarterback, 3 times in a game. That's not happening yet. But I guess he's doing well against the run and, maybe covering when he has to. I think it's like some of that shit you don't notice unless you go back and do film review. I'm just a fan doing my all 22 film review. Let me tell you what I see there.
I literally can't have an opinion on the game until I watch the all 22.
Yeah.
I can't tell you if a player is good or not.
No, I mean,
he might be good. I just have to check the all 22.
I'll check the all 22. Watching the game, the camera angles, you don't know anything about football. Like, you don't see shit. I'll look at it the way the coaches look at it, even though I've never been trained on anything about football. Nor have I played it, mind you.
But I do have a Game Pass subscription.
I've watched the all 22 for 5 minutes.
It is exceptionally boring.
No, it's really fucking boring. If you don't know what you're looking for,
oh yeah,
it's like going to an art museum and having no appreciation for art history and not understanding why any of these paintings are special for their time or knowing any of the artists. You're just like, yeah. Looks like something I could buy at Bed Bath & Beyond, honestly, for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's like, this Jackson Pollock guy sounds like a real tool.
Well, I mean, you could argue that even when he was famous, but we'll do art critiques in a new podcast launching Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I do have an announcement. This Saturday, Jake Shapiro is going to be posting Rockies podcast here, and we're going to try to give that a little test run. People have been asking for Rockies. Like, I don't watch baseball, so why the fuck would I talk about the Rockies? But Jake Shapiro covers the Rockies like a real reporter, and we're gonna give that a little test.
Yeah, well, he picked quite the exciting time to talk about the Rockies. They just lost 3 games to the Dodgers and fell out of first place. So
anytime I think about the Rockies, they lose, and that's why I just stay away.
Yeah, please keep them off your lips, sir.
I will.
Anyway, Bradley Chubb, apparently pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I think he's going to get a lot better.
He can get a sack on Joe Flacco.
Anyway, we've got to get to this. Broncos at Ravens. Who's winning? We both picked the Broncos through the first 2 weeks. Is that changing?
We've been correct so far as well.
Sure have.
I'm diving into this game today, so I don't have a fully formed opinion. But I do think the Broncos can win this game, even though there's like a lot of the little things stacked against them, which I think we touched on in the Monday recap. They're on the road, first road game. It's an early game for them as well. Those things concern you a little bit. Jared Valdir in concussion protocol. Don't know if he's going to clear it or if he'll play. So right tackle may be a bit of an issue. But the reasons I think Denver might win this game, Ravens are banged up too. C.J. Mosley, I think most likely is not playing with a knee bone bruise. And then their defensive linemen, God damn it. I'm so bad at players' names.
Let me see if I can help you.
I know it. Michael Pierce, their best defensive lineman, Michael
Would
Pierce.
not have gotten
Also on the injury report, if he doesn't play, if Mosley's out and Michael Pierce is out, I think the Broncos running backs and offensive line have a huge advantage against that Ravens front seven. The strength of the Ravens defense, even when those guys are healthy, is their secondary. But they, like the Broncos, they had 6 sacks week 1 against the Bills. The Broncos had it against Seattle, who gave up 5.5 sacks to the Bears. So week 2, Ravens 0 sacks against Cincinnati. They've had 10 days to rest, though, so they have that in their favor. So, I don't know how good the Ravens' pass rush actually is, and 2 of their key defenders may be out. And the Broncos are running the ball well, and their offensive line's playing well. So if the Broncos do win, I think it's going to be for those 2 reasons. They need to run the ball 30 times at least again, like they did week 1. That's what I like. The Broncos secondary, even though the Ravens receiving corps is not like this elite group of receivers, I think it's just smart, solid veterans there. Crabtree, Willie Snead. If Joe Flacco has time to throw the ball, that's my concern, is the Ravens can beat the Broncos through the air, because the Ravens' rushing attack isn't that good either. So that's why I think the Broncos can win. I don't know. What are you looking at, Will?
So do you know if Jimmy Smith is playing in this game? Is he still suspended, or was it only 2 weeks?
I think it's a 4-game suspension.
Okay. That helps because –
Or wait, was it 2?
Ew.
Let me look it up while you talk about it.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking was Eric Weddle looked really, really bad against the Bengals. And if they can get Demaryius Thomas going down the field, because he only had 18 yards against the Raiders, and that was a big reason why their offense was stalling, because if he drops and he just wasn't getting very much separation at all, I think that would help. Jimmy Smith is typically pretty good against the Broncos.
He's
so is Eric Weddle.
4 games. Smith is 4 games.
That helps. I was gonna take the Ravens because strictly because it's an East Coast game. It's an early start. People don't like to talk about it, but it's an earlier start for me. It's actually 10 a.m. So I have to get up early to watch this.
Dude, I hated that when I lived in California. And the game started at 10 a.m. I get up early now because I work really hard for a living, Will. But
yes,
when I lived in LA, I would literally have to set my alarm for 9:55, and I would wake up and just roll over and turn on the fucking TV, and football would be on. And I like a little buffer before my games start.
I think everybody does. Yeah.
So I feel you're paid, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for empathizing with, it's tough sometimes, but we'll get through it.
I'm empathizing with you now so I can shit on you later.
A fantastic strategy.
That's how my dad raised me. Just kidding.
I was going to take the Ravens. Just because I was thinking about last year, that Bills-Broncos game.
Week 3.
That was the East Coast. Yeah, week 3, their first road game, first East Coast trip. 10 a.m. start that time, or 11 for people in Mountain Time. But the Broncos actually probably should have won that game too.
Yeah,
if not for that stupid Von Miller unsportsmanlike penalty where he did the little
whoops.
Gotcha.
Talk about that. I said last week, Chargers safety or corner. He got unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for doing this to going bye-bye to the receiver. And I said that was the lamest one in history, but Von Miller's is right up there with it.
Also, with the impact that had on that game was egregious.
It was
that. Yeah.
How do you make that call if you're a ref? It's like, fuck that guy. Dude, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties for players talking trash to each other is the dumbest. Besides the new roughing the passer rule, it's like these are grown men, and you're gonna cost a team 15 yards for that shit. It's stupid.
Yeah, like there are some that should get called, like if you just like headbutt a guy or like do something like that, or like
if you hurt somebody.
Yeah, if you hurt their feelings though. Or, like, I could see, like, if you just, like, hit someone, like, really hard and they're on the ground, like, you get in their face and, like, taunt them while they're, like, half unconscious. I could see that.
Most players don't do that. Usually players, like, when they see somebody's hurt, they kind of know.
Yeah, that's kind of like a relic of the past now.
Yeah.
But it used to happen a lot. But, yeah, just, like, stuff like that, like the little, like, taunting thing or, like, Von Miller's fake handshake. Like, give me a break, dude. It's not worth 15 yards. It's not worth swinging the game. Anyway, all that being said, I'm taking the Broncos.
Nice. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way. I guess I can tease people and say, watch my prediction episode. But I'm leaning towards the Broncos right now. Case Keenum's on the injury report with the knee thing.
Yep.
That came out of nowhere.
Sure
I don't think it's serious, but I guess I should see what happens there. Broncos corners need to play better outside of Chris Harris Jr.
They do.
Adam Jones played good week 1. I think Jones is on the injury report, but Jones he wasn't good last week. Roby wasn't good. Tremaine Brock wasn't good. Like, that's what really concerns me, especially against a team that has those veteran receivers, like I said, and Flacco, who maybe had the best game of his entire fucking life against the Broncos in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, there's a history there. But I'm leaning towards the Broncos now, and that may change by the end of the day. Who knows?
Yeah. So let's say for the purposes of this show, we're both on the Broncos.
That's correct.
We'll do our full picks at the end of this episode. But anything else you have from this game that you want to talk about, or should we get into the NFL?
Let's transition to the NFL.
Okay, so we're transitioning. You're wiping the screen away. All right, so you want to talk about these new era element hats, which I have seen, and they're mostly terrible, especially the Broncos one. The Broncos one is ass.
Yeah.
It is so bad.
The concept for these hats, if you haven't seen them, is like they basically use half of the logo on the hat against like the team's main color as the background. But the Broncos logo, they just left the mane of the Broncos hair. So it's just like 3 little orange waves with a tiny little orange eyeball.
Yeah.
And it's no logo. And it's basically just a lazy fucking design. I feel like they said, you know what? We can get away with doing half the work on these hats and pitching it as a cool new thing. Now, the hats work for some teams.
There's some that are nice.
But, like, the Cardinals logo just looks like a fucking cartoon. The Ravens logo doesn't even really look like the Ravens logo. Just look up the New Era Elements hats. And if you buy one, you're a sucker. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that I'm going to ever see the Broncos hat being worn in public.
Like, why would you buy a Broncos hat that's just 3 wavy pieces of an orange mane? Nobody's ever looked at the Broncos logo and been like, you know the coolest part of that logo? That Broncos mane.
Yeah, I just like the hair. I'm sorry. I don't want the actual Bronco
hair. Anyway, that's all we need to discuss. I just wanted to point out how stupid they are.
Ass. The Texans one's okay. That's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, like I said, it works for some logos, but they needed to rethink about half of their designs.
Yeah, maybe even more. So the big news out of this week, and you already talked about it in your video, but Josh Gordon signed with the Patriots. Awesome, cool, everything's great. It's fucking terrible. What do you think is going to happen?
Do you think he's going to have do you think he'll be an impact this week?
This week, I don't know. I could see anything happening just because. So what I'm trying to tell myself is just to like get myself through the day. I'm telling myself that Josh Gordon is a deep threat who only runs deep, doesn't do much else, and Tom Brady doesn't throw deep. He doesn't have a very good arm, and he just basically throws crossing routes and checkdowns, and that's all he does. So I've convinced myself that he's going to be a non-factor.
I hope you're right.
He'll probably have like 10 touchdowns this year.
I think we'll find out how smart of a NFL receiver Josh Gordon is based on how quickly he has success in that offense. Because from what I know about like the Patriots offense is it's hard to pick up for receivers. Like you have to understand a lot of concepts and know what Tom Brady's going to do based on certain defenses, as opposed to like just knowing you're going to run a certain route on this play. Like you got to know you're running this route at this depth based on what the defense is doing. So it takes like a savvy receiver, I think, to pick up that offense quickly. And I think even for like your average good receiver, it takes some time to pick up how they run that. So if he has success, I don't think it's going to be this week. I'm not saying I think Josh Gordon is a dumb or smart receiver. I think we're just going to find out like where his football IQ is. And based on him being in and out of the league for the last couple of years, I'm not putting a lot of stock in that. But again, based on his athleticism, if he gets open and Brady just chucks him the ball, which is not how that offense works, maybe. Maybe he Randy Mosses it and Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady does throw it deep, just not a lot. He goes like deep like once or twice a game, and he usually connects because the guy's like open by like 10 yards.
Not like deep like we think about like Josh Allen like loading up and
no, he's not throwing 60-yard bombs, but he's throwing like 30 or 40-yard, downfield passes 2 or 3 times a game. But I don't think he'll do a lot this weekend, but maybe after a week or two in the system. But
yep, yeah. He also just doesn't seem like I mean, I'm not breaking new ground here, but he seems like a weird fit for the Patriots organization.
Yeah, well, they take a chance. They take chances on. I mean, Chad Ochocinco, like,
well,
he was a very good receiver. He didn't work there.
Randy Moss, I guess you could say.
Randy Moss worked.
Haynesworth did not.
Who was the drunk from Arizona they brought in?
Michael Floyd.
Michael Floyd, like they'll kick the dirt on. They'll kick the tires on some guys.
Yeah, they will. I don't think any of them have the problems that Josh Gordon does, though.
Yeah, I think the Browns could have gotten the same thing from a different team for Josh Gordon. I don't know why they would trade him to the Patriots.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, first of all, nice going, Browns. Like you said, we're going to trade him out of the conference. Oh, first team to call, the New England Patriots. We'll give you Josh Gordon. Potentially an all-pro wide receiver here's a 5th-round pick.
Yeah. It was reported 10 teams called the Browns about him.
God damn it. They couldn't have offered a little bit more?
Like, I don't know. It just seems stupid. I hope it doesn't work out for the Patriots' sake. For Josh Gordon, I hope it does. But so I'm kind of torn there.
I hope Josh Gordon gets released immediately after the first week. Signs with a different team like
the Jaguars, the
Jags, or the 49ers, or
49ers would
be likable.
Yeah, 49ers would be good.
Even the Cowboys. I don't know if I think the Cowboys would be a great fit for him and for his problems, because that's a franchise that has struggled historically with substance abuse just as a whole, especially with wide receivers. Not going to name any names. I didn't hear that. I want to see him do well, which makes it all the more tragic that he's in New England.
Yeah. Dallas would take him for sure. I mean, if they took fucking Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
Real piece of shit. Josh Gordon's only crime is hurting himself. You know what I mean? So,
right. Yeah, like we should point out, Josh Gordon has never been like a menace to society
he has
or anybody
issues.
Himself.
And did you watch that like documentary about him?
No.
It's I forget who put it out. I want to say SB Nation, but it's not. It's some thing, but watch it. Like it's a really good background on his like college coaches enabling him with allowing him to feed his substance problem, and it just turning into something that becomes unmanageable.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I have sympathy for people going through that, those sort of things. But like Josh Gordon's, it's substance abuse, addiction issues, and I think it's also a lot of mental health. Not like, I want to be careful the way I say it, but I think it's a psychological in like whether or not he really wants to play football, like him having a hard time figuring out what he wants to do with his life on top of that stuff, that it's a more complex problem than just somebody having like a weed addiction or alcohol addiction.
That's kind of what people have been saying. There's just like he just smokes too much weed, and that's not true because he would obviously the NFL takes exception to that kind of stuff, but that's not all it's been.
Yeah, it's
like pills, and he's been drinking since like middle school. He said he played drunk for like until he got to the NFL. Basically, I don't know about drunk, but he drank before every game, which is pretty incredible thinking about how good he was.
Right.
After tossing a few back, but it's wild. I hope it works out for his sake. Although, well, like I said. Why did it have to be the fucking Patriots?
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting, and I talked about it a little bit, but like the Patriots, it's either going to be perfect because they have like a tough love sort of mentality, like or that's going to be the worst fit for him. You know what I mean? And it'll go one way or the other, but it's like I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and you never know with those types of personalities, like what kind of environment is actually going to be nurturing for him. So we'll see. But that's enough about Josh Gordon. That's old news. Antonio Brown didn't show up for the Steelers on Monday. They said it was unrelated to his tweet saying, "Trade me," to a former PR guy who was talking shit to Brown on Twitter all day, which is really fucking weird. Like, could you imagine like Patrick Smythe next year if he didn't work for the Browns just talking shit about Emmanuel Sanders or Demaryius Thomas?
Absolutely not. I could picture D-Mac doing that, but not Patrick Smythe.
And D-Mac's just a media guy. He's not a PR person for the organization. So it's a weird situation. I think the Steelers have a lot of drama happening over there.
Yeah.
They've got Antonio Brown's a diva. I mean, there's no getting around that. Le'Veon Bell not being there. Their defense is horrible. That's the real problem with the Steelers, is their defense fucking sucks. And who are they playing this weekend?
They're playing the shit. Let me scroll down really quick. They are playing the Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay. Yeah. So I picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick in my fantasy because he's going to have another good game because the Steelers defense sucks.
Very bad.
The Fitzmagic train is happening for 3 weeks at least. But I think Pittsburgh, they have a good chance to finish third in that division. And you could argue the Browns could top them this season.
It could happen.
There's no denying there's incredible offensive talent. But in both of their games, they've given up more than 30 points. I think if the defense was good, like Antonio Brown can do or say whatever the fuck he wants because on Sundays, that guy plays. You know what I mean? He's not one of those guys who says shit and then doesn't show up. Like, he's there every Sunday. He's catching like 10 balls for 100 yards. They have Juju Smith-Schuster, which only makes Antonio Brown better. So I'm not worried about the Brown stuff. I think Le'Veon Bell's shit may affect the team more, but even now with James Conner, like, offensively, they don't have to worry about anything. They need to find a way to stop other teams from scoring 30 points, and they're gonna get a big dick dose of Ryan Fitzpatrick down their throats this week.
Wouldn't that be great? The Buccaneers seem to have like the Steelers number. They've beaten them like I want to say like twice in a row because they didn't play like every 4 years. But for some reason, it's like one of those teams that just completely has their number. So we'll see if it happens again. I'm riding the Fitzmagic train. There are no breaks on the Fitzmagic train. I'll just say that.
No,
it's going forever.
What did you think of Minkah Fitzpatrick trademarking Fitzmagic? Did you see that?
Terrible move. I hated it.
Such disrespect for the nickname Minkah. Who the fuck are you? Nobody in the NFL calls you Fitzmagic, even if that's what you've been called your whole life. And to trademark that from right underneath Ryan Fitzpatrick's nose, lack of respect. It's a lack of respect of what hurts the most.
Minkah Fitzpatrick, he went to Alabama. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'll just say this. I don't know if you've heard. He went to Harvard, okay? Have some respect for the Ivy League schools. Have some respect.
You know, if it comes out that Minkah called Ryan Fitzpatrick and asked his permission to do it, then I will –
like Phillip Lindsay and Terrell Davis.
Then I will back off.
No chance.
I guess – like I made a joke about it on Twitter, and somebody said Twitter users were harassing Minkah Fitzpatrick's mom about it.
Maybe a little bit far.
Yeah, no, that's way too far. Like I didn't even at Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like I just made a joke about it being so disrespectful. Like honestly, who gives a fuck? But it's just like a funny thing.
I bet Darren Rovell was all over that story. He loves trademarks.
Does he?
Oh yeah, he's so horny for trademarks.
Anyway, like a trademark.
Antonio Brown was, I guess, complaining about like his targets, even though he's been the most targeted receiver in the NFL, I think, through 2 weeks.
That's what every receiver does in all-time NFL history.
Like, what else? What more do you want, dude? Like, it's the defense. Like, tell your defense to tighten up, or you guys are not going to get any better. Anyway,
if your number one receiver isn't bitching about getting targets, then he's not a number one receiver anymore. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, I guess, but like, I feel like there are plenty of good number one receivers that just kind of went about their business, and I don't think like Antonio Brown's like a detriment or anything. I don't want to be like an old school football guy, but like Rod Smith, like he never complained openly.
Yeah, that's because he was undrafted, man. Okay,
well, Demaryius Thomas has never complained either.
Yeah, and look what happened to him. He can't even make a fucking clutch catch when it matters.
Fair. Although he did get that defense or the offense going on the sideline. If you saw that clip,
fired him up,
and then he dropped that pass, which that's kind of hard to explain.
Who would you say are the top two receivers in the NFL?
Ooh, I'd take Antonio Brown and probably DeAndre Hopkins.
Wrong. Number one receiver in the NFL is Michael Thomas.
Wow. Oh, through the first two. Oh, statistically?
No, just like anybody's discussion, he should be number one.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Stats back that up, but his catch rate in targets right now is 90%.
That's pretty good.
Which those other guys are like at 55%. Like Julio Jones, I would have to see what Antonio Brown's is, but the dude is going to be, by the end of this season, he will be, I think, everybody's number one. Like they'll be like, that guy's number one receiver in the NFL. So there's going to be a little bit of changing in the guard because I think DeAndre Hopkins is kind of the smart answer for people who pay attention to football because he's like the guy who like does everything well. Most people, I think, say Antonio Brown and Julio Jones, but Michael Thomas, he's going to finish this season. Everybody be like, that guy, legit number one. That's my prediction.
Okay. I like it. He's got Drew Brees, so kind of helps. It helps to have a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He fumbled last week, too, but he didn't drop much.
Uh-oh. He fumbled against the Broncos, too, didn't he? Like 2 years ago?
Michael Thomas, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
That was his rookie season, right?
Yes, it was.
All right, so we got Jets and Browns tonight?
We sure do.
Yes, we'll talk about it in 2 seconds.
Darnold v. Tyrod Taylor. Do you think the Jets rebound and go to 2-1, or the Browns get their first win since 2016? And improved to 1, 1, and also 1.
Yes.
You're taking
both.
the Browns.
No, I picked the
Okay.
Jets. I picked the Jets. But that's because my prediction episodes on Thursday, I talk about the betting lines, and I've been very good at being wrong. So I'm trying to sort of keep with that theme to show people what not to bet on.
Good.
The Browns are 3-point favorites. I picked the Jets, though, because I don't know why I picked them, honestly. Like, I think both of these teams are okay. I think the Browns have the better defense. I think they can give Sam Darnold some real problems tonight. But I also think the Jets can run the ball down the Browns' throats. They did it week 1 against the Lions. They didn't do it last week against the Dolphins because they got down by 20 points, so they went away from the run. But I think young quarterback, run the ball. I think they can do that against Cleveland. And also, I just don't like Cleveland's offense, man. Like, they just haven't been good. They had to cut a kicker. There's all those unpredictable things. The defense can win this game for Cleveland. They are at home on a short week, which is a huge huge advantage for the home team on Thursday night games. I just wish that Baker Mayfield was playing in this game, because then I think it would be a very interesting game to watch. You would have a great storyline in Darnold versus Mayfield, two teams who I think over the next couple years will turn into decent teams. But I picked the Jets, even though I think the Browns will probably win.
I want to see the Browns win. I really do. But I'm taking the Jets as well. I think Darnold is a better quarterback right now than Tyrod Taylor is. I think Tyrod Taylor, outside of like the last 2 minutes of the first 2 games, has been really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be going to Baker Mayfield probably sooner than later. I think if they lose tonight, I think you could see a change within the next week or two. But yeah, I think the Jets, like you said, they can run the ball well enough to keep Sam Darnold out of 3rd and long, which would be a big problem with Myles Garrett, obviously, and the guys we talked about. Ogunjobi, I want to hear that name called a couple times.
Ogunjobi.
Genard Avery, everybody knows him.
I do.
PFF's 3rd highest rated rookie. So yeah, they've got a lot of pass rushers to work with, and run the ball and get into favorable situations, the Jets will be okay.
Here's how bad the Browns' offense is, okay? They have played against the Steelers and the Saints, right?
Right.
And everybody else who's played against those teams has thrown for like 400 yards,
10 touchdowns,
6 touchdowns. Yeah. So like Patrick Mahomes against the Steelers, 6 touchdowns, 350 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick against the Saints, 4 touchdowns, 400-plus yards. Tyrod Taylor, 1 TD, 1 interception, like $150, like 200 yards. So the Jets' defense, I think, is better than both Pittsburgh's and New Orleans. So I don't expect the Browns' offense to be better in this game at all. And I guess that was my thinking for picking the Jets when I kind of remember what I said yesterday, which is – fucking challenge for me every week.
Also some really good young players on the Jets defense between Darren Lee and Jamal Adams too, who's turning out to be a really, really good player at safety.
Oh yeah, Darren Lee, he's their inside linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's been really good.
Yeah.
He's going to be a better linebacker than Shaun Lee. He's the new hot Lee.
He's the best Lee this NFL has ever seen.
GD Wright, Wright.
The best Lee since Bruce.
Ooh, wow.
Or can we think of any better Lees?
No.
That's the only one, really.
He'll finish as the best Lee to ever play.
To ever walk the earth, possibly. It's the most common name on earth, I think.
Let's pick all these games real quick, huh?
Yeah, let's roll through it. First game. You know what? Actually, before we do that, let's recap how we did last week and how we're doing overall.
Oh.
So, last week, you went 9-6-1. Pretty strong. So, we got another tie. I went 11-4-1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang.
So your overall record right now is 17, 13, and 2.
Jeez.
I'm sitting at 21, 9, and 2. So you've got a little bit of work to do. So start getting these games right, Perna.
I pick
Okay.
who I want to see win. Well, that's the difference between us.
And it's showing. No.
Do
you
you
got the
just-
Jags last week, so
Oh, I did.
yeah.
They fucking owned the Patriots.
I should have counted that as 2. That was great.
All
I
right.
should have gone with
This
my heart.
first game is hard to pick, too.
Yep. Saints at Falcons.
Man, like, Falcons are at home. I think they're a better team than the Saints. But it's like I can't see the Saints starting 0-3. Like,
Well, they're 1-1 right now, so they wouldn't.
Oh, they did win. Sorry.
Yeah.
They should have lost. Oh,
yes.
boy. Okay.
I agree.
Then give me the Falcons.
Okay.
Give me the fucking Falcons, I guess.
I don't see them starting 1 and 2, so I'm going to take the Saints.
Ooh.
Although I think this will be a very good game. Okay, Bengals at Panthers. 2-0 Bengals, 1-1 Panthers.
Yeah, give me the Bengals. I like the Bengals right now. I think they're playing really good defensive football. Andy Dalton's looking all right, and I don't like saying that. Joe Mixon's not playing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll still go with the Bengals. Fuck it.
Okay. Giovanni Bernard, maybe a big game out of him. I'm going to take the Panthers just because I think people are a little too hot for the Bengals right now. And I think they're going to cool down. They're going to cool down.
All right. Well, you're going to get the first game right. I'm getting this game right.
We'll see. Giants at Texans, the David Carr Bowl, which is what everyone is calling it.
Yeah. Giants, Texans. Oh, both of these teams are 0-2. This is a desperation game.
This is Bill Simmons' voice. This is a loser leaves town match.
Oh, yeah. You start 0-3 in the NFL, your season's basically done. Can you imagine being in week 3 and being like, we have no chance to make the playoffs unless we win like the next 9 games in a row? Fuck, this one's tough. I like Houston's defense. I have been on the Giants bandwagon, and they have just effed me. Will Hernandez is the only guy playing well on that line. Give me the Giants.
Taking the Giants. I'm taking
Texans.
The Houston Texans. Just because merciless, clowny J.J. Watt against that Giants offensive line, which gave up, 5 or 6 sacks against the Cowboys.
Okay, I changed to the Texans.
Nope. No,
I changed to the Texans.
You changing it? All right.
You convinced me. Plus, I got to gain some. They got to get ahead of you.
Well, then you should have taken the Giants. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose.
That's fair.
This next one's easy.
Titans, Jags.
Jags. Give me the Jags all freaking day.
All right. You're jagging off.
I'm jagging off.
I'm jagging off as well. Blake Bortles, 4 touchdowns last week. I think he continues his MVP campaign.
Yeah, Bortles.
49ers at Chiefs.
Woo!
The Alex Smith Bowl. It's also the Joe Montana Bowl. Who are you taking?
Man, I want the fucking Chiefs to have to play a good defense. That's all I want. 49ers defense is just all right. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I want San Francisco to win. I think they'll offensively, they might be a little bit competitive, but I don't think they can keep up with Kansas City yet.
All right. Well, everybody knows that I know that Patrick Mahomes
is a fake.
Is a fraud. He's a phony. He's a paper tiger.
Okay, just take the 49ers in.
I'm taking the 49ers.
Yeah, boy.
49ers are winning. Raiders at Dolphins.
Hey, Dolphins leading the AFC East.
They sure are, 2-0.
Playing a Raiders team that just doesn't make any sense. Give me the Dolphins at home and Adam Gase to give the Broncos a little bit of a favor this year.
I'm taking the Dolphins as well for all of those reasons.
Sick nuts.
Mostly they're better at football than the Raiders are. Okay. Buffalo Bills at Minnesota Vikings. They're combined 0-8 in the Super Bowl. Who's coming out on top?
Ooh, I like that stat. Two teams been there a lot, never get a win. Get Vikings. They got rid of their weakness and brought in Dan Bailey, who for whatever fucking reason was a free agent.
Yeah, it is probably now a strength.
Yeah, Vikings gonna own that game. Cousins threw for over 400 yards last week. You're gonna tear that Bills defense to shreds.
What happens if the Vikings go like 15-0-1? Are they still undefeated? Awesome. Is that an undefeated season?
That's close enough.
You think that? Okay, I like it.
It's not undefeated, but it's not.
It is though. It's undefeated. They were not defeated in 16 games.
Okay, whatever.
It's not a perfect season, but it's undefeated.
Yeah.
Colts at Eagles.
Ooh. Shit. That's gonna be a good game, I think.
Yeah.
I think the Colts, they're better than I thought they were. Eagles get Carson Wentz back.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, but, man, I think he's coming back too early.
Maybe.
Here's what I'm going to do for Eagles fans. When I pick against them, they win. So I'm going to take the Colts in an upset. You got to pick one upset a week. I'm going to pick the Colts.
I think that I was tempted to pick the Colts. I'm a big Colts guy this year. I like Frank Reich a lot.
Oh, yeah, Reich against his old team, too. That's a good story.
Right. I have to take the Eagles here. I think Carson Wentz I think the team will play well for Carson Wentz in his first game back. So that's my angle. I think the Eagles are going to take it. You've got the Colts, Packers, Redskins.
I think Darren Lee's going to make Carson Wentz's knee hurt.
Darren Lee. That is going to be tough because he plays for the Jets. I think you're thinking of Darius Leonard.
Damn it. I crossed my wires again. Literally can't retain information for more than 10 minutes.
You're like a goldfish. Okay, Packers, Redskins.
Ooh.
Battle of the 2005 first-round picks.
Right.
Got Aaron Rodgers and then the superior quarterback, Alex Smith.
Obviously. Rodgers might not play. He's day-to-day every week.
But he probably will.
He said his knee could get worse.
Well,
if Rodgers plays, give me the Packers. If he doesn't, then I won't watch it.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You have to pick a team.
I'll take but yeah, if Deshaun Kaiser plays,
I don't – you don't get to hedge your bets here.
I'll take the Packers then.
Okay. He's got the Packers. I've got the Packers as well. Okay. Ooh, the Los Angeles Bowl. Chargers at Rams. Will there be anybody in this stadium? Probably not.
Yeah, this is kind of unfair that this is an away game for the Chargers.
To be fair, they get an extra 8 away games every year, so.
Let's see here. Chargers, Rams. Give me the Rams, please.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams as well.
They destroyed Arizona last week.
Yeah, they just got – Arizona was handed an absolute ass beating. They didn't cross the 50-yard line until there were 5 minutes left in the game.
That's nuts.
Sam Bradford not looking good. Sleeves are not big enough yet. Chicago Bears at Arizona Cardinals. It's a rematch of that Monday Night Football game from 2006.
Bears look good.
Bears. Okay.
If Mitch Trubisky actually throws more than 2 touchdowns in a game, Bears are going to be unstoppable.
I'm going to take the Bears too. Do you think we see Josh Rosen this week or next week maybe?
Maybe next week. I don't know why you wouldn't start fucking playing him, but maybe because you don't want him to have his confidence ripped to shreds on that terrible.
I wouldn't play him against the Bears just because
not a good game.
Defense they go against.
Yeah, the Bears defense is why that team's good. Danny Trevathan, 2 sacks the other night too. Former Bronco. Like to see him doing well,
That Seattle offensive line is terrible.
Bad.
Okay, speaking of them, Cowboys at Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, if they go 0-3, that'll be the first time in 16 years that they've started that bad.
And you picked the Cowboys last week, right?
I did.
Yeah. Shit. Give me Dallas. They've got some good pass rushers, and I don't think Seattle can hang. DeMarcus Lawrence, right? He's a Cowboy. He's the pass rusher.
Sure
I'm not
is.
making up names,
Sure
right?
is.
Like
Nope.
Darren Lee. Yeah, I like Dallas because of their defensive line.
Okay, I'm going to take Seattle purely because they're at home, and I think they're going to get a boost in their home opener because they played 2 weeks on the road.
Fair enough.
I think Russell Wilson will pick things back up and give them a win. Okay, the Sunday night game. This could be an absolute bloodbath. It's the Patriots at the Lions.
Matt Patricia versus Bill Belichick. The Lions are not a good team, though.
They sure aren't.
I think New England's going to win.
Okay.
But I will be rooting very hard for Detroit. Detroit couldn't even beat San Francisco. Patriots aren't as good as I think. Patriots will be good starting October.
Everybody knows it's not October yet. So,
yeah, easy Patriots.
Yep, I'm taking the Patriots as well, which leads us to the game of the week. Maybe Pittsburgh Steelers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Roethlisberger v. Fitzpatrick, 2 potential Hall of Famers at quarterback.
Gonna be a freaking scoring fest.
This could be 62-61. Who you take?
It'd be awesome. It would be awesome. No defense, tons of touchdowns. Mm-hmm. I don't always like to see that, but I hope that I hope this game is that. It feels like one of those things, though, we're all going to be excited for a ton of offense, and then the defenses are going to play well for no reason. You know what I mean?
That would suck.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, though.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa as well.
Too many issues.
I'm taking Tampa as well. I think they have a better roster all around, not just on offense, but defense. They still have Gerald McCoy on the inside. Quan Alexander's really good. Justin Evans, who's the rookie safety from Texas A&M, is playing really, really well. So I'm taking the Bucs. They've got Fitzmagic. I think it carries on a few more weeks.
All right, let's.
So we're doing our FanDuel.
Yeah. Okay. So last week, Will destroyed me. His team was far worse than mine. Christian McCaffrey had a huge game. I bet against that, and I paid for it severely.
I also got a boost. I got a boost because I picked Josh Gordon, and he was released before the game, so that was lucky for me. Or not released, but they said they were going to release him. Hurt his hamstring.
Yeah. And as a courtesy, Will offered to put in a guy who's going to play, and I said no. That was a smart move. So we're going to reveal our lowest scoring fantasy lineups for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Will, you got yours pulled up?
I do.
All right. Hear it? Yeah, let's go position by position, but quickly.
Okay. Starting at quarterback, I've got Matthew Stafford against the Patriots.
Ooh, not bad, not bad. I think that's going to fuck you, though. I picked Marcus Mariota against Jacksonville.
Interesting.
And Mariota's questionable with his elbow injury, so that is my one injured player.
I've yet to take an injured player. Okay, running back, Austin Eckler against the Rams. He's the Chargers' second running back.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I know who Eckler is.
Well, I'm saying it for the listeners who may not know.
I took C.J. Anderson against Cincinnati.
You have faith in C.J.?
He's not getting a lot of touches, and Cincinnati's defense is pretty good.
It's unfortunate. I've got Chris Ivory against the Vikings, and that's because I think that they're going to be down most of the game and have to throw a lot.
Who does Ivory play for?
The Bills.
The Bills now, okay.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. I took Saquon Barkley against the Houston Texans. I needed a big money player, so
I like it, yeah.
I had to choose a matchup for a guy who is $8,000, and that is Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. For anybody who didn't listen last week, we have to have a salary floor of $55,000.
Yeah.
So we can't pick just, a team full of scrubs.
Right.
That would be way too easy. I've got Nelson Aguilar at wide receiver. I think he could catch a lot of passes, but he doesn't have a very good yards per reception right now. So
Okay.
I'm hoping he has like 6 catches for 18 yards, the old Demaryius Thomas.
Eagles against who are they
Colts.
playing? Colts. Okay. Darren Lee. Got it. This is going to make Broncos fans mad, but I picked Demaryius Thomas against Baltimore.
You're making me mad. No.
I just even without Jimmy Smith, they've got 2 decent corners there, and DT hasn't had a big game yet. Also, he cost all my receivers could destroy me this week. So DT.
I think this will be his big game. He usually plays pretty well against the Ravens.
God damn it.
Okay. I've got Devin Funchess for the Panthers.
I almost took him.
Against Cincinnati. I can't really explain this pick other than he was $6,200, and I don't know.
Yeah, he'll be invisible, or he'll be the only guy who catches touchdowns for Carolina.
Usually how it goes.
That's how their offense is, because Cam Newton's unpredictable. I went with Brandon Cooks from Los Angeles against the Chargers. I think the Chargers secondary is pretty good, and I don't know. Yeah, I needed to fill out that money, so Cooks, and I did it with receivers.
Yeah, I've got Tyler Lockett for the Seahawks against the Cowboys.
Okay.
He could either have an 80-yard touchdown or
Nothing.
2 receptions for 14 yards.
So I took Jordy Nelson against Miami for my final receiver.
All right, I've got
Tight end.
the mulleted Tyler Eifert against the Panthers, because my reasoning on Eifert, he could easily have 2 touchdowns in the red zone, or he could have nothing.
That is going to haunt you.
We'll see. We'll see.
I took
put Kuechly on him in the red zone. We'll see what happens.
I took Cardinals tight end Ricky Seals Jones.
Oh, stolen from my team from last week. One of my MVPs from last week.
Goddamn right it was. I took 2 guys because my next one, my flex is Rashad Penny.
Oh, God damn it. I would have taken Penny again, but I really needed to fill out the salary. So I took Melvin Gordon, which I'm realizing now that taking Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon actually a terrible move.
Unless both defenses shut down the run.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know they're both on the same team.
Right. But they're playing the Rams.
Yeah.
And got some pretty good defensive tackles there.
Yeah, okay.
Linebackers not as good. But
who'd you go with defense?
I took the Bengals against the Panthers. I think the Panthers.
You really do not believe in these Bengals.
I picked against them. I might as well. I might as well go all in on the Panthers.
Okay. I finished mine with the Cardinals against the Bears, Arizona defense.
Cardinals, Bears. That's okay. I can see it.
We'll see if I can score fewer points than you this week. Hopefully, FanDuel starts working again. And we can look at it. But
you're going up this week, my friend. You're going up.
All right. So this is the part of the podcast where we started over, so I can tell you everything I told you.
Mm-hmm.
So this Broncos game, what are you looking at, Will?
Should we just talk backwards and then no?
No.
I like it. I like both teams.
Okay.
I think they're both going to win.
Well, we will end the podcast now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, make sure you leave us a comment that says you like Will without a hat.
Free hat.
Free hat for Will. Will Keys. Will Keys 6 on Twitter. Follow him. He's been helping me write a few of my episodes every week, and just a godsend.
That's what people say about me.
That's it. Goodbye.